Okay, I hope it's showing recording. Okay, so welcome to the first module, the first session of our Zoom meeting. And unfortunately, we have not been able to meet. The students have been wondering what is happening with this module, but I wanted us to meet as a group, and then we discuss them. We go through the assignment 1, and also the students to share with me in terms of their workload, and then we can decide on what is the best time to submit this assignment. It is my sincere hope that the students have already started doing the assignment. So allow me just to go through exactly what is required in this assignment. This is how the assignment is going to look like. The assignment will start with the students will select the specific title that they want to give the assignment, so that the assignment can be more intimate and the students will have a better understanding of exactly what it is that they are doing. So the students will introduce, what do I mean by an introduction? By an introduction, it's just a matter of, first of all, telling us a little bit about the background of this assignment in terms of what are you going to be discussing about constructivism, about whole brain thinking, and about multiple intelligence, so that the reader will be able to understand that those are the key features of the assignment. And then whatever I usually do, after I do a paragraph or so, I usually go down on another paragraph, and then I say, the assignment will start by briefly describing what is constructivism, what is social constructivism, and what is, then I'll go on to section 2, where I will explore brain thinking in terms of left brain thinking, right brain thinking, whole brain thinking. And then I will move on to the next major section, where I will look at multiple intelligences, the concept of metacognition, the concept of self-regulation. And last but not least, I will also discuss the 3 statements that have been asked of me, whereby I've been asked to discuss what is educational vision, and why would we perish if we do not have an educational vision, and why is educational growth important, and what is the relationship between educational growth and a vision. So generally speaking, that is how an introduction will look like. Then the students now will move on to the body. In the body, I would like to see those 3 sections, and those 3 sections will be discussed in terms of the relevant heading. So the student will come here and select the relevant heading and say, for example, I can copy this. You're able to see what I'm doing. Yeah, I enter. I enter. I want to be certain that this thing is recording. Okay, it's recording. And then I enter. So what will I do? I will select these ones and I make them appropriate headings. I can make them heading 1. So that now I have a place from where to start my discussion. So having done my introduction here, I gave it heading 1. I gave this assignment a topic. Select a specific topic. Okay, which is appropriate, which is smart. By smart, I mean specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. You know, this is what I use in the lesson planning, but I'm just using it here just to show how important a topic must be, whereby the topic must be comprehensive. In essence, the topic must talk about all the things that you'll be doing. So this is section 1. I want to go up and down to make this one. Then I'll share this. This is section 1. Then I'll copy that. I can make this one into capital letters. Then I'll go here and make section 2. I will go, this will be my section 2. I will copy these keywords. I'll post them there. So here I'll be discussing multiple intelligence. Okay. Here I will discuss metacognition, and here I will discuss self-regulation. And my work must always have application. I even ask the students themselves to write the word application. That's what I do even in my work. I will show you. Whenever I write, I apply. I don't know whether, let me just have an idea, just show you a small idea. You see, application. So whenever I discuss something, I do my application. You see, how is this, whatever I'm talking about, applied? That's what I'm talking about. Oh, it's a lorry outside there. So application. Section 2. Application. Go to section 3. Application. You can see what I'm doing, Philippa. You have an idea now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, even if I don't talk, you can just have a look at what I'm doing, because now I'm doing the assignment, and that is the essence of learning. We learn sometimes by doing, somebody demonstrating, and I don't have to keep talking, but you can look at and see exactly what I'm doing. So when I come to the introduction, I will copy all these. Just I will ensure my introduction mentions all the key terms, namely social constructivism, left brain thinking. So when the marker is marking, the marker is looking for the what is it that you are discussing in your work. Okay. And then last but not least, this work will have a conclusion. A conclusion again. In the conclusion, I also want to see these words again. ensure that your conclusion yes, you ensure that the conclusion has this. Yes, ensure that my conclusion mentions and ties all the key terms, together, because we are threading. You can see already I'm sewing. See what I'm saying? I'm like somebody who is threading a piece of garment. Now my garment is coming right as I'm continuing, as you can see. I've started with something, with nothing, and I'm already threading something. That's how my assignment is coming into being. So then I will ensure that my assignment also have a references. Yes, and I will show you how we are going to do the references. Okay, there will be the references, and then I will come here. This was the topic. Okay. Then this I will have a cover page, and then I will come and say, I don't know where I can put this thing here. It's better to go there. Okay. Then I will come here and insert I will insert a blank page, and then I will go to references. I will go to the table of contents, and then I will select one table of content. Okay. And then I'm just going to take you through the whole thing. I will come and start inserting if I have images, tables. Okay. Then I'll come here and say, I'll go again to the references, insert caption. Okay. Figure 1. Oh, whole brain thinking. Okay. Then I'll come here and say source. Okay. I can even say Howard Gardner. No website allowed. No website. Only the source in terms of the author of the image. Okay. And then I will come here and I can have a table. Insert caption, table 1. Okay. Traditional versus multiple intelligence. Of learning or something, of learning. And then I say source. This one doesn't have a source, but I need to put a source so that I can even say if it's Gardner, I can just it's Gardner. If it is not, I'll just say where I got it from. $2019 or 20 whatever. Okay, and I'm saving my work, and then I will come here. So I have my table of table of content. The table of content is very important because it automatically tells me what you do. And the students, they are using automatic. I see some students, they spend the whole day creating a table of content like this. It doesn't work. They write D, then they write another one. It doesn't work. Students must use a reference. You can see what I've done. Then I'll come here. I say, insert tables and figures. Table, okay. I have table 1, so I can see here list of tables. Then I will come here and do list of figures. Then I will come there, table, figure. Okay, yes. And then I'm just going to talk about the things which I want to make sure that I've talked about everything. So when I'm talking about a figure, I must come here and write this word here, figure. When I'm discussing it, this might be later on. Then I will say figure 1 serves to demonstrate, serves to demonstrate. What is the purpose? You must discuss the purpose. I'm not very good with this keyboard because I'm used to an external keyboard. Sarah, how are you? Sarah? How is Sarah?
I'm good, and you, ma'am?
Yes, I'm very well. I decided that I have to continue, but I'm recording. Makosazana.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yes, I will just continue talking. I know it might look like passive learning, but I think that might work. I just take you through the assignment. We do it together as you observe. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And then if you have any questions, you will ask me later.
Yes.
Yes, I'll just take you through the whole assignment. By the time when we are finishing these few minutes together, you'll be able to start the assignment and get going or continue where you had started. So I'm not teaching in a passive manner, but I just want to take you through it. So observe what we have done. I did the table of content with Philippa when she was here. I inserted all the section 1, section 2, and section 3. That's how the assignment will look like. And then I put a table and I put an image so that I have my list of tables and the list of figures. And then I have my relevant topics. This is my introduction. My introduction must cover all these, and my conclusion must cover all these. So I'm just going through it, and every work must tell us how it's applied. So right now I'm on figure 1. If you discuss a figure, you must discuss the purpose of that figure. Why do I need to see that figure? What is the relevance of that figure? That is what academics do. Remember, I want us to be very excellent because excellent is the key. We are going to be perfect as our creator is perfect. So when I discuss figure 1, I'm going to come here again. I just want to show you what is perfection. Then it's up to you to decide. Then you write figure 1 before and figure 1 after. And then you say, furthermore, the figure has shown that the concept of whole brain thinking is vital in modeling learners who are to be prepared. I'm not very good in this keyboard. I'm used to an external keyboard. Let me get my external keyboard. who are going to be prepared for the new mode of learning in this COVID era. I'm just trying to come up with something. And then I will go to the same thing I will do with my table 1. And it's not just one line, because sometimes they just copy the table and then they say this table is traditional versus, then tell me more. Why the table? What should I expect to see in the table? The table is actually showing us how teachers teach a topic or a subject. But when we are using multiple intelligences, the teachers structure learning activities around an issue or a question, so that rather than me coming here to teach about a virus, I come here and then I start asking you, how can we resolve what is happening with the pandemic? You see, that is very different from me coming here and telling you, this is a virus, this is what a virus does, this is what the virus does, these are the types of virus. I just come up with an issue. This is what South Africa is facing with a virus called coronavirus or the COVID-19. Then we discuss the issue. But by the end of that lesson, we will all be able to understand what a virus does, because we have seen it in actual sense. Sometimes I want to come and teach you about parasites. When I want to teach you about parasites, I can come and tell you parasites, they invade animals and whatever. But if I come with a documentary, the other day I was watching a documentary of parasites, which I didn't know that parasites, they invade bees. I was so shocked. The bees were doing like this, I was saying to myself, the parasites are killing the thing that they need, because the bees were not even now doing anything. The bees are covered with parasites. So I come with such a thought-provoking video that will make you say, oh my, is this what a parasite does? So that by the end of that lecture, you actually have seen a video, you have demonstrated to you what a parasite is, so that it's not something that you're just going to conjure in your mind and say, oh, a parasite does this, a parasite suck blood. You have actually seen it in your own life. That's what multiple intelligence is about, So multiple intelligence about pedagogy implies that teachers teach and assess the learners differently, so that the strengths and the weaknesses are all catered for. Otherwise, if I use only one mode of teaching, I will only cater for your strength, and then I will ignore your weaknesses. But if I cater for different ways of teaching and learning, I will pull up your weaknesses, so that your weaknesses will no longer be a weakness, but you'll use them to become a strength. So that is what I will just discuss here briefly to explain what my table is about. And then I will copy again here after the table, and then I will say, furthermore, you can see how important it is for teachers, educators, to undergo a paradigm shift in their way of thinking, in their ways of being, in their ways of doing. Because only teachers, when they undergo that paradigm shift, can they be able to have an impact on learners. Because you can always exceed somebody who is doing something. If I'm not doing anything, then how can you be able how can I be able to nudge you to become the best and the highest version of yourself if I'm not becoming the best version of me as an educator? So the educator who is always striving, the educator who is always learning, the educator who is always looking for new ways, new forms, is the one who will be able to help the learners to transition from traditional to multiple intelligence. So that is what I will write there. So that the person will be able to say, oh, that table has really served a very important purpose. Okay. So that is how my assignment is going to be structured. Topic, introduction. Here we are going to start with a brief story of what these key terms are. And then we are going to say here, my work will be organized as follows. Section 1, I will look at, I will just come and copy here. Section 1, I will look at this. Then I will say section 2, I will examine this, and then why, you know, not just examining why. What is the importance of, what is the relevance of examining this, exploring that, for what purpose? And then section 3, I will look at this. Why, where, you know? Yes. So that is how my introduction will look like. So now let me go to social constructivism. So when we are talking about social constructivism, the assignment is telling us Vygotsky. Vygotsky is known for social constructivism. Buruna is known for learning by doing. And also we have also Piaget. Piaget is another important character. Okay? They have all attempted to relate the relationship between the brain and the mind and education, because Vygotsky wanted us to move just from, apart from social constructivism, into understanding our conscious and subconscious mind. That's what he wanted us to do. So I will come here and I will discuss Vygotsky, who is known for social constructivism, and what was he about? What was he about? Let me see if I can get something here. So here is Vygotsky. So Vygotsky, as we can see, was a Russian psychologist. He studied social environment. He studied the concept of the zone of proximal development, whereby he said, if we pull our students from what they know, their potential, and then we'll be able to take them to their highest level. We take from what they currently know, and then we'll take them to what they do not know, through which methods, social interaction, private speech, knowledge of others. This is the zone of proximal development. That's what I'm talking about, whereby we are taking our learners, what the learners already can do by themselves without anybody's assistance. And then we are going to mix that in a place called zone of proximal development. It's a zone like we zone this place, and then we use that zone to do a proximal development. So what am I going to be doing? In this zone, I'll be mixing beyond what is beyond the learner's reach and what they already know, and then I mix them together. So that, what is the purpose? I'm trying to expand the learner's environment. So I'm trying to expand the learner's environment using the zone of proximal development, whereby it's like I'm taking two pots, that pot, and then I'm mixing them in this zone of proximal development. What you know, what you do not know, and then I mix them so that we are building, rather than just teaching you what you do not know and negating what you already know. I mix them together. And that's what I'm supposed to do today. But for now, I'm just going to take you through the assignment, and then later on, I'll use those ideas, whereby I'll ask you, what do you already know about Vygotsky? And then you tell me what you know about Vygotsky, and then I start from there to create a teachable moment. So that is what the zone of proximal development is about. This diagram is drawn in different ways. I have mine, which is totally different. Then the scaffolding is another important concept that I want to see in that assignment. Fading. Fading is whereby, as you are scaffolding, when I'm building a house, I normally put a structure of wood so that it can help me to climb there. Otherwise, you would fall. When they are building the mold, they use scaffolding. So the more they are moving up, they remove the lower ones, they move higher. So scaffolding is that what I'm talking about. Fading is whereby you start removing that assistant with time, because the learners are getting better and better with themselves, you know. So foundational knowledge, new task, given through guidance, scaffolding, and then the learners, they start doing things unaided. And that's what I'm doing today. I am aiding you, and then you are going to develop your own knowledge through modeling. where you are going to imitate me because I've already done the assignment with you. Okay, that is exactly what it is about. And then, so that's what you are going to do in terms of Vygotsky here in your assignment. Okay, then there's a little bit of Piaget. I'm going to mix Piaget and Brunner here. So Piaget and Brunner, I'm going to talk about them here. So Piaget is the one who came up with the idea of cognitive. Cognitive has to do with the mind. Yes, because he's talking about construction. Construction is building. Where you are building something, each one of us next time will come, you bring sand, I bring water, you bring a brick, and then we start building together. That's what Vygotsky is about. But Vygotsky took it more than cognitive, because cognitive has to do with the brain. He took it further into the idea of building together. It's the idea of togetherness, oneness, unity, oneness. That's harmony, you know, collaborative learning. That is what Vygotsky is about. But Piaget was only talking about the mind. Yes, we learn by constructing, but he didn't go that further. He was just talking about how the individual learns, which is different from behaviorism. Okay, but the good thing is that Brunner, even though he talked about that, he also went further into talking about learning by doing. He talked about spiral curriculum. Instead of a curriculum that is hierarchical, he talked about a curriculum that has to do with going around us in circles, so that you don't feel as though you are moving steps up, but in the long run, you'll have moved step up, but you'll have moved in circles rather than moving in hierarchy. Because when you're moving in hierarchy, you are ignoring what you previously had learned. Okay, so here, if I look at this assignment, Piaget is a Swiss biologist. He identified 4 stages of development. He talked about assimilation. Piaget talked about the 4 A's. I'll share with you, I'll email you the 4 A's, whereby we have assimilation, we have adaptation, we have accommodation, and then we have association. Okay, so what is happening? Let me share with you an example. I went to visit my friend the other day. She has a 2-year-old daughter. The daughter has never got out of the compound. The daughter is always playing with the cat. The daughter doesn't know anything else apart from the cat. He's a small toddler learning how to talk and everything. And then when the daughter and the mother came and visited me, they found that I have dogs. They found that I have cats. They found that I have so many animals. What do you think the daughter will be calling those different animals? Who can tell us? Philippa, when the daughter comes to visit my house, what do you think she'll be calling those animals in my house?
Like each individual animals or animals in general?
In general, she only was brought up seeing a cat, so she only knows a cat. What is the probability? What will happen to that girl when she comes to visit my house?
And she sees a cat.
And she sees a cat, she sees a dog, she sees a horse. Yes. What do you think is the probability? Which name will she call those animals?
She'll call the name that she knows. So she only saw a dog.
A cat. And then she only saw a cat.
Hey?
She has only seen a cat.
So if she's only seen a cat and then you have a dog, she'll call that dog a cat because she only knows.
Yes, exactly. She'll start calling every animal a cat because that is all she knows, you see? Thank you. That's what is going to happen. But now the child will be told, my daughter, not all 4-legged animals are cats. So now the child he was associating every 4-legged animal with a cat. And now the students will start to associate, no, not all 4-legged animals is a cat. is a cat. You see? Now, the child will go something called dissonance, you know? It's called dissonance. Dissonance. This called dissonance, you know, cognitive dissonance, you know, discord, conflict in her mind. Oh, you know, I thought that then the child now will have to accommodate. When you come to my house, I will give you one room. I have accommodated you in one of my rooms. I'll tell you, okay, you are not going to be using all my rooms. Only one room is yours. You accommodate. So the learner, the child will accommodate in her brain that new information. Not all four-legged animals are cat. And then what will happen? The child will assimilate new information so that it can be able to undergo an adaptation. An adaptation so that next time when the child goes to another house and then sees a totally different animal, the child will know that even we have two-legged animals, then you say, oh, not all two-legged animals are hen, some of them are duck, some of them are birds, some of them, not all of them can fly. So the child will go through the 4 A's of assimilation, of association, accommodation, adaptation, and assimilation of a new information. That is what Piaget was about. So Piaget here is telling us about observing, experimenting, developing mental structures in the head, you know, combining existing knowledge through new knowledge, you see, cognitive adaptation, assimilation, accommodation, you see, and so forth. Dewey was about pragmatism, learning by doing. And then we have Brunner here. So this is what I'm talking about, is the spiral, you'll see. Yes, an example of a spiral. Rather than going through a hierarchy is staircases. But spiral, you are still going to go up, but you're going to go up through new experience, reflection, new experience, reflection, you see? So that's what Brunner is about. Brunner is an American psychologist. You know, he learned that the idea of discovery learning. Brunner was about discovery learning. Oh yes, learning by doing was a Dewey, but it's also a part of it, but it's more discovery learning. Dewey was about, yes, solving problems, using existing, manipulating, in exploring. So we are going to have so many key terms, images, mental iconic, you know, symbols. This is how he was talking about. The learner is playing with the book. The learner is in active mode, iconic, looking at the picture, symbolic, able now to read for research because the child has grown and developed. Okay, he talked about the spiral curriculum, the one I've talked about here. Yes, spiral curriculum. The one I've just shown you before, whereby we are going to go up, but not through hierarchy, but spiral, discovery, learning. That's what he's talking about, a particular topic. So that's what we are going to do. And then I want you to come up here and be creative, discuss this. And then we are going to explain to educators in Kwansati why they need to undergo a paradigm shift. So maybe that's what could be your application. So that now let your assignment be relevant, you know. You ask them, how can you as teachers of Kwansati High School apply this? What is the importance? Why is it important for you to understand the relationship? Why do we need to undergo a paradigm shift? You know, what is a paradigm shift? Well, let's say in the beginning, scientists, they're always discovering new things. Even right now, they are discovering new things about the virus. What did they do? Before there was no DNA, nobody had ever thought that everybody is unique in terms of their DNA and their fingerprints. You see what I'm talking about? That was a new discovery. That was a new discovery here in terms of a paradigm shift, a new discovery. This key term was brought by Kuhn. Kuhn is the one who developed this idea of paradigm shift. So let me give you an example. DNA was not known. DNA was not known. So scientists, they came up about the DNA. They were doing it for science purpose, for medical purpose. Can you see that? Now I want to ask Sarah. Sarah, Sarah,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
scientists, they developed DNA for medical purpose. Can you tell me who has benefited from DNA apart from scientists?
I think us as people, in order to find our relatives, and also in donations, organ donations, blood donations, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I
Because
can think of.
I want everybody to try and we work together. Now we are building. Mako Sazana. Or which name do you prefer?
Makosi.
Makosi. Who has benefited from DNA apart from science or apart from medical? Who else has benefited from DNA?
As Sarah said, we could say as people benefited from DNA because we are able to find our long lost relatives. DNA testing.
Any other example that is not even related to science? Philippa, any other example that's not related to science that we can use DNA?
Hey, ma'am, I've got nothing. I can't think of any other example.
Let me give you a hint. Police.
Oh, so to track criminals and
you see,
to track criminals.
You see,
to
and
see which criminal.
It was not being developed for science, for criminals, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was being developed for science, but now it is being used to track criminals. Because now everybody has a fingerprint with, you know, when I go to the bank now they're telling me to put my thumbprint and the thumbprint. Have you seen that? The bank, they're telling me now to put my thumbprint, like, you know, and then they're able to read it from the Home Affairs because of my DNA is unique. You understand what I'm talking about? That's what.
Yes.
Yes. People were acquitted. People were acquitted from prison. Why were they acquitted from prison using DNA? Tell me. Why were some people acquitted from prison using DNA? Makosa.
I have no idea.
Sarah, why do you think some people were let go, were released from prison? Why were some people released from prison using DNA?
I think they are didn't match with one the police have.
You see, that's true. Somebody was killed though in 1990. There was no DNA. So they said you have committed a crime because somebody said they saw you there. Then you spent time in prison. Then the DNA came because the blood of the victim was still kept there. They went and saw the fingerprint. They saw the DNA did not match you. You are not the one who raped that woman because they did not show that it's your DNA. You see what I'm talking about? So people were even released from prison using DNA. That was a paradigm shift. You see what I'm talking about? A paradigm shift whereby now we move into a totally new way of thinking. That's what we can see here in this table. Paradigm shift. Multiple intelligence has brought about a paradigm shift from traditional way of teaching to the contemporary way of teaching. The same thing now we are talking about. Constructivism theory in general, they are bringing about a new way of thinking. A paradigm shift has taken place whereby now, instead of teaching our learners from behaviorism is more of constructivism. Here, let me show you. This is the behavior. This is the assignment that students did before you. So even your assignment is behaviorism is whereby the learners were learning using traditional methods, whereby you give a student a sweet and then you observe a change in behavior, and then there's a consequence, punishment, time out, all kinds of things. That's behaviorism, ABC. They say now learning is taking place because your behavior is changing. But this one now brought a paradigm shift from behaviorism whereby we have a shift from behaviorism. Yes, behaviorism is where we can, I will even use this assignment, A, B, C. So you cannot talk about this assignment and don't mention a bit of behaviorism, whereby now we are moving from instructivism, instructing learners A, B, C, E, F, G, H. That's what we used to do in primary school. But now we are coming up with new ways. I bring a Lego. When I bring the Lego, we play the game. Then from there you learn the alphabet. As we used to go to school, the teacher would kill us with the whipping, because we had the text, the exercise book had multiple choice tables. We go to school, we were sleeping at night. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 5 is 50. Oh, you know, you would forget. The teacher would kill you because we were behaviorism. 2 times 2 is 4. By the time you reach 8 times 6, the other one has already gone. You see what I'm talking about? It was behaviorism. Regurgitating, reciting, drilling until you become perfect. But now we have undergone a paradigm shift whereby we are going to bring more of the learner constructing knowledge. I tell them, let's go to spa this afternoon. Then tell me how much the things are costing. Tell me how much you can buy with 5 rands. Tell me, I give you different coins. Go and bring for me this. Bring for, you know, the learners, they are learning by applying. So that is where the application will be. There's more of application because now it's more learner-centered. Yes, the same thing is happening here, but I wish this assignment we would have discussed cognitive and then the other one. So application, you copy this again, and then here we do the same application. So how is it applied? How is it applicable to you? Because now we are going to move here. They are just moving. I prefer, let me show you what I will do with this assignment. I will make social constructivism to come after. I will copy this, cut, and put it here. That's how the assignment can be arranged better. You start by discussing cognitive. Cognitive has to do with only the mind of the individual learner. The mind of the individual learner. So it is still very much applicable because now we are shifting from behavior into how learner processes knowledge. So it will be important for you in Constructive High School because now you're going to start learning how the learner processes knowledge. That it will benefit you because this is what I want to see. You teachers in this school, you will benefit highly because you will begin to see the learner from a mental perspective. Mental perspective is a mind perspective. You start to see the learner as somebody who has a mind, because during our time, the teachers, they never thought we had a mind. The teachers, they used to think we were a machine. The teachers, they used to think that we are robots. We are coming. I used to know photosynthesis is whereby the plant is absorbing all carbon dioxide and emitting oxygen, and the plant is photosynthesis and the sunlight. And then you ask me, what is the sunlight? I don't even know what is the sunlight. Well, what is photosynthesis? I don't have a clue of what I'm talking about, but I could talk about photosynthesis with my head and but now you take the students out and you tell them, bring some seeds, bring some water, bring 2 containers. One container we put water, we put soil, and then we put the seed. The other container we put a cotton wool, and the other container we put a seed with nothing. And then after 2 weeks, we'll observe what will happen. Then the learner will be able now to apply and say, oh, that is what is photosynthesis. You see, in real world, it's about application. I call it authentic learning. Those are the keywords I want to see in your work. So today I'm just engaging with you. I'll send you this assignment. Anything you want me to do for you, I will do. PowerPoints, anything you want me to do. But today I was just trying to introduce to you so that you can see what I'm talking about when I say I want to see how the teachers of Constructive High School will benefit from your work. Then now I will go to left brain thinking. So what is left brain thinking? Then I will copy these keywords. I'll copy these keywords here. So left brain thinking, I'm talking about analytical thought. You know, thought is a mind. Thought is what you are thinking, you know? And what is our purpose as educators is to help the learners to become the best and highest version of themselves using their thought. The thought is how you are thinking. What are you impressing in your subconscious mind? That's what Vygotsky wanted us to know. Because remember, let me come here. These things, they're related both to Vygotsky and they're also related to the brain and the thinking, you know, or the thinking brain. Anywhere you can put them. And then you say figure 1, figure 2, what is it doing? You see, let me copy this. I don't know if I can copy all of them. I'll give you these things, don't worry. That's why I'm talking to myself today. Today is I'm going to call it talk to myself, doctor. Dr. Kashia talking to herself, but you know, it's a mode of learning. I don't say, I'm not saying behaviorism is not a good way of teaching, because what I'm doing today, I'm using more behaviorism. I'm using more behaviorism because I'm trying to shape your behavior. You see, I'm trying to shape your thought so that we can start now thinking a new way of learning. Okay. So remember, we are going to yes, I want to be a bit thorough. Because you can use it. I'm recording. I'll share with you this video, so you don't have to worry about anything. You can always look at it before later. Between conscious and subconscious mind. That's what Vygotsky wanted to do. But Vygotsky passed away at the age of 38. He left work that he had not finished publishing because he wanted us to go up not only for collaborative learning, but he also wanted us to have an idea that the mind we have two minds. Okay, we have two minds: the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That's what he wanted us to know. So what is happening? These are the 4 A's. Piaget, association, assimilation, accommodation, and adaptation. I want one of you to explain to me this diagram, because we have just talked about Brunner with discovery learning. I cannot teach you about Brunner discovery learning and then I do the discovery for you. No learning will be taking place. So can one of you tell me explain to me this diagram, what is their discovering? Talk. Each person to say something. Philippa, start us off. Interpret this diagram.
Ma'am, I'm just analyzing it. I'm going to give you an answer now.
Yes. You don't have to be right anything.
It looks like what we take in on a daily basis compared to what we take in when we are small as an infant.
Yes.
And as an infant, it's saying that I think we take in more with our subconscious mind as an infant compared to when we are older. Okay, in general, we take in more with our subconscious mind. But as an infant, the only mode of intaking information would be the subconscious mind, because they haven't gotten to the stage of trying to shape their conscious mind as yet.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah, I want you to say something. Where is Sarah? Has Sarah disappeared? Makosa. Anything. We are just trying to discover. Nobody is right or wrong. What do you see in that diagram?
I'll have to go with what Philippa said.
Anything else? Anything new? Anything? Just anything. What do you see? Anything? Apart from what she has seen. Any key word? Mention any word that you can see there. There are so many words here. Pick one.
Paradigm.
Okay, what do you think is happening? Or even these keywords here. What is happening? What do you think is the purpose of these keywords here? What is happening?
That as an infant, you take what you hear from the radio, people, and media through your subconscious mind, and when you get older, you use that on a daily basis.
Exactly, that's very good. So what is happening is the infant is being influenced. That's why that's why you see me, I'm so concerned. I saw another lady, her infant child. The child goes to her phone. The child knows how to open the phone for the mother, and the child knows how to go to YouTube videos. He's wearing, the child is wearing like Drake. The child, now the mother is so happy that but the thing is, you don't understand what's happening. That the child is speaking, and because the child is modeling a young stage, the child is at the subconscious mind is a powerful mind. The subconscious mind is your powerful mind. It is the one that will shape your behavior. So then, as you grow up, you'll have prejudices, self-limiting beliefs, because you'll grow up thinking only Drake can sing, on the YouTube videos, you'll be self-limiting beliefs. You'll be having racism, against gay and lesbian, all those kind of things, not tolerance on other people's religion. abusing people, xenophobia, you know, see, because it has become engraved in you. That's why you see when children, they undergo trauma like rape and alcoholism and drug abuse by the parent, the child will tend to become a drug abuser and a wife beater because it was ingrained in the subconscious mind. So what we are saying is that now, today we are automatically now absorbing everything that is outside. You don't even question. You don't even question. When the other day I was driving my car, then the radio, they were saying, please, this 1 hour, everybody to phone and ask for a song. I wanted to switch off that car radio. Everybody, 1 minute, I want to hear Drake. I listen to Drake. Then when I'm driving again, oh, I want Drake, the others. I say, what's wrong with the people? You can't think. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody is asking a different song. They're all asking Drake. You know, the radio is, well, go and buy the CD. You see what I'm saying? You know, we are thinking the mass mind. You see, now we are thinking the mass mind. We are thinking like everybody else. We have become a caricature of everyone else. I said to myself, what's wrong with the people? Why can't you say, I want to listen to Breda Fassi for once, or I want to listen to Pata, you know? I want to listen to something that is in my heart. Oh, why are we thinking everybody is the same thing? And Drake is not saying anything important. It's just swearing. You see, so if we do not go through a paradigm shift, we are going to carry other people's fears. We are going to carry other people's self-limiting beliefs. We are going to carry other people's phobias. And that is what now we are talking about, the idea of conscious and subconscious mind in terms of Vygotsky and learning. And that's why we are saying it's called the emotional mind. What is going to happen when the subconscious mind has accepted something? Then the conscious, when the subconscious mind accepts, the subconscious accepts. You see, that's what is happening. Thinking, an educated mind. So what are you doing? The subconscious mind doesn't sleep. So what you are absorbing in the environment, when you sleep at night, that's why you are dreaming. Because the subconscious mind is like the heart. It's working 24/7. It is accommodating all your fears, all those, you know. So what are we supposed to do? We as educators, we are supposed to be those who are going to shape our learners' conscious mind. Because the conscious mind will pick, and then the subconscious mind will accept. So that is what I'm talking about here. I think this is yes. So that is this. So let me just now go on to there. I'm trying to show you what thinking is about. So that is what I'm talking about. Thinking is the idea of the conscious and the subconscious mind. Let me go back to my notepad. So I'll take my notepad. I'll mix logic. Logic is now the idea of thinking, which is good. Language, we have seen language with Vygotsky. We have seen reasoning. Some people, they do not want us to reason. You know, they tell us the Bible is saying, yes, the Bible is saying, but God has given you a mind to think. You know, if God did not want you to think, she will not have given you the mind. Okay. Written, number skills, and right hand control. So you'll just take them in general. You'll take these key terms in general. Let me also write the ones for, let me also write the other ones for whole brain thinking, for left, for right brain. Art, awareness, creativity, imagination. I'm talking them loud so that you can know the keywords. Intuition. Intuition is when your mind is telling you, do not enter into that car. Another friend of mine, she had booked to travel in a certain bus, and then at night, her intuitive mind told her, don't go. My friend did not go, and then that bus burst into flame because she listened to her intuitive mind, and she said, let me lose my money. I'm not going because my mind is telling me not to go. But most of the time, even me, I tend to ignore my intuitive mind. And then I say, I wish I listened to my mind because my mind is telling me not to do this. and then I go. I say I'm going, and then I say I wish I listened. Yes. So this right brain thinking. Okay. So this is what is going to happen. So I want you in general to discuss, just to discuss, check on the internet. What are the key words? What is logic? Logic has to do with logo. In the beginning was the word, and that word became flesh. So what is happening? In the beginning was a word. Word is what I'm talking to you. And what is happening? My words are becoming flesh. My words are becoming the reality of what I'm saying. If I did not speak these words, you would not know what I'm talking about. Now, you see, we have been together here for 1 hour. What has happened? In the beginning was the word, and this word has become an assignment. You see, my words have become flesh. My words have become flesh. So my words have become an assignment. But if I did not think logo, I did not think that word, logic, thought is what you are thinking. Analytical is whereby you are analyzing. Analyzing. Language, you have seen it with Vygotsky, the way you are talking. People have different language. Another person, he went to another place in Amazon. He was told to go and talk to the people there because those people, they have refused to become part of the 21st world. They still want to talk in their own way. He went there with his prejudice. He could not understand their language because their language is not our language. He went there with his prejudice of, oh, I'm going to master this language within he couldn't master their language because their language is not a language the way we are talking. Their language, I don't know, it's something to do with their emotion, or so you cannot say she, he did, or their language is a lifestyle. So he had to do away with his American way of thinking and become and embrace their lifestyle, because he was saying, how come the small child is talking this language and me, I can't talk the language? Because the child is in the lifestyle of the people of the Amazon, because their language is not the way we are writing, you see? So reasoning, we are saying that the God has given us a mind to reason, okay? So the reasoning has to do with this brain, okay? Science and maths, okay? Writing, number skill, okay? Then we shall apply to the quantitative school, and why we need to undergo a paradigm shift. Okay, then right brain thinking, art awareness, creativity, imagination. I've given you an example of an intuition. Imagination is where you imagine something because it is your brain. Nobody can tell you not to imagine. Once you imagine, then it becomes a reality. So we teach our learners to become very imaginative. That's what learning is about. But during our time, we were not allowed to imagine. They say you are daydreaming, but when you imagine, that's when you become a creative learner. That's why you see 3D movies, Avatar, Harry Potter, those are imaginations. Somebody has thought Harry Potter and Harry Potter has become something. Insight and wisdom. Those are what I'm talking about in the book of Proverbs, tells that to gain those two things. But now people are not gaining insight and wisdom, they are gaining selfies. Insight and wisdom is what will make our learners better. Music awareness, holistic, whereby you are thinking in terms of wholeness, holistic. Okay, now let's do the application. I assume we are going to do the application form. Now tell me, if I go and I employ a CEO, let me say I'm going to employ a CEO. In the interview, I discovered that the CEO is using left brain thinking. Okay, what will be the advantage of that CEO? And what will be the limitation that CEO will undergo? Limitations and strength, or strength, weaknesses, strength, weaknesses, advantages, disadvantages. What strength do you think that CEO will bring to the company? Let's forget about the CEO and the school principal. What will be the advantages of employing a school principal who has this kind of skills? Philippa, I'll start with you, and then because we will do the other one for right brain thinking. What would be the benefit of employing a CEO of Constructive High School who has this, who is a left brain thinker? Philippa?
They'll be able to analyze situations and basically pick the best possible outcome, like, for decision making wise. They'll also be able to use their logic.
Yes.
Yeah. And their reasoning.
What would be the advantage of numerical?
Hey?
What is the advantage of being numerical, science, math, and number skills?
The advantage of that?
Yeah, what will be the strength in terms of the principal knowing how to to use numerical skills? Yes.
And
science and maths.
I'm not sure how it would benefit a principal unless they deal with finances. I'm not sure.
The principal deals with finances of the school. The school running is in the hand of the principal. That's why some schools are closing down, because the principal is mismanaging our fund.
Oh, okay, then yeah, properly regulating the finances, putting it into each department that requires it. That's what can help with the maths and the science parts.
Yes, we've seen so many schools that they are going under because there's mismanagement of the funds. They are given a food and donations, and it is all going to the principal's pocket. You see? Okay. Now, Makosi, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Yes. Cecil Bafana. Is that your name?
No, I'm using my brother's computer.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my friend there, because she, at least you Makosi.
Yes, ma'am.
What will be the advantage of employing the principal of Kwasanti High School, who is good in right brain thinking? We are applying. What will be the? I want to employ a principal, and during the interview, I've realized that the principal is a right brain thinker. What will be the advantages? What benefit will the principal bring to the school?
I don't understand.
Bafana, can you be able to tell us what do you think that the principal will bring to the school as a strength? Anybody? We have the keywords here to use in the interview. The principal, I've noticed the principal is good in this. Makosi. Sarah.
Oh, ma'am, I think also their creativity in terms of their teaching methods that will be used in their schools.
Yes.
And also arranging their learners in terms of grades. And what else? Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, somebody else to add? Imagination. Do you want somebody who is imaginative? A principal who can imagine possibilities. Even when they are, instead of the principal always telling us things cannot be done, he will always be telling us what we can do. The principal who can use intuition to see into the future, so that to drive the school into the future, so that the principal is always intuitive and very imaginative. We say we need computers for our school. He says, yes, we are going to do a drive to raise funds. We are going to contact companies to help us with a drive. Somebody who has insight, who can be able to see into and who is wise. Don't you want to employ a principal who is wise? So a principal who can see in 3D. When we cannot see anything, he can be able to say, no, I can see we are going to create a new biology lab here. Because if the teacher can, is awareness, very increased awareness. Okay, now what will be the limitation of this principle who is using left brain thinking? These were the strengths. Now I want to see the weaknesses. What will be the weaknesses of this principle? Philippa, now you can tell us the weaknesses because you told us the strength in terms of this left brain thinking. What will be the weaknesses the principal might bring to the school if he's only thinking in terms of the left brain?
Well, I think it would be, the weaknesses would be the right brain. So he won't be imaginative in seeing the vision of the school because he's just focusing on tips on how to improve the school, you know, just like those step-by-step sequential, you know,
yes,
of steps. He won't be creative either. So maybe creative in terms of raising funds for the school. Maybe you'll only think of one method and not another. Yeah. What else?
Yes, that's multiple perspective. Excellent. You see, you know, and you know, he can hold the school back, you know, because everything must be reason. You know, he must logic. You tell him we can do this. He says, no, but my mind is telling me it cannot be done because we don't have the funds. And everything must be logic. They can be very petty also. Such people, they can be very petty. You know that? Because everything must be to the tar. You give him 5 rand change, says, no, it's supposed to be 5 rand and 95 cents. Because he's just wanting to be into too much logic. You know, and that can cause the school not to develop, you know, pettiness. How many, they give you a chalk like they used to do, we used to be given chalk. If the chalk does not get finished to the end, they will not give you a new chalk. Pettiness, that kind of a thing. Okay, I want now Sarah to tell us what will be the weaknesses that this principle will bring, who will only be a right brain thinker. Sarah, what weaknesses will this principle bring to the school? If he comes here, he's only a right brain thinker. This is the way he's thinking. What weaknesses will he bring to the school?
If there is high enrollment in schools, he or she won't be able to be creative in terms of.
I'm saying so. He's equipped with this skill. He's a right brain thinker. He does not have the other skills for the left brain thinker. So he does not have this skill. So what would be the problem? Look at these skills and tell me what would be the problem if he does not have this skill. He doesn't have this skill. Yes.
He or she won't be able to do reasonable decisions when it comes to managing the school.
Yes. 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 He doesn't have this. Yes.
Language barrier will be also the problem.
You see?
When he or she is going to manage in different areas or provinces.
Yes. Yes. Language will become a barrier. You see? You see? You'll not be able to be thought-provoking. You'll not be able to convince, you know? Very important to convince people. Somebody else, what else? What is the problem? When he doesn't have the idea of, he doesn't have analyzing skills, logic skills, reasoning skills? What would be the problem, Makosa?
He or she won't be able to keep the school in good shape as he or she will lack logic.
You see?
Logical thinking skills,
Yes.
reasoning, and analytical.
You see? Very good. You see that? You know, you lack logic, reasoning. Can you give me an example of somebody who, what can he do if he lacks logic and reasoning? Give me an example. What do you think can happen? Somebody who he's only creative like this, imaginative, intuitive, you know, possibilities all the time. He's talking about possibilities and he does not have the logic and the reasoning. What would be the problem?
Things could easily get out of control.
Yes, things can get out of control. Yes, because he'll always be talking about, he'll only be daydreaming, fantasy. You know, you live in a world of fantasy. He always telling you, we can do it, you know, because but he's not taking the time to do the maths. He's not taking the time to reason it out and use logic that this school can only accommodate 500 students. We only have enough fund for one class. We don't have enough fund for a big bus because he's just living in a world of fantasy. You see, that's what you'll be lacking. That's why now we have to copy this. And when we are discussing in our application, we use the following. Use the following to discuss the limitations. You'll use the following to discuss that you lack the following. This one who is a left brain thinker will lack these ones. Then you can explain. He will not be intuitive, he will not be imaginative, and then you can still use these ones against him. He will be too rigid. So you copy both of them and then use them as a disadvantage. He'll be too rigid. And then some of them when they have these language skills, they use them repeating, you know, and to control and to make people to be submissive. You know, they don't want other people's opinion. You see? So he can become too much rigid. And then he can say when he's lacking this, you see? And then that's the same thing. We say right brain thinker, these ones will be his weaknesses, but these ones can also be his weaknesses also. These ones, they can also be his weaknesses because he can just become too much creative until it is running out of control. He's too much in a fantasy world. Yes, sometimes say, hey, no, that's kind of a thing. So why do we need a paradigm shift? So that we can have a balance between the two. Between the two extremists, you know? We have seen extremists, what they do. The extremists, I'm seeing extremists, they are chopping people's hands, they're chopping people's heads because they have an extreme fundamentalist view, you know? But if at all we can come together, we can come and reason so that we can have a paradigm shift where we can balance the two. So this is where the application is coming in. So you see my assignment, application, left brain thinking, right brain thinking, then now we come here and now use the whole brain thinking. Here, that's where we are coming now up with the idea of applying. This is where now we apply the whole brain thinker. We say, what would be the advantages of whole brain thinker? Yes, and we can see, we have already discussed them because that person will be balanced, both musical number, holistic thought, and science and math, insight versus reasoning. That's what we are talking about. Whole brain thinker is the one who is going to bring a mix of both right brain thinking and left brain thinking. And then you can now discuss, and then you can apply and say, if you employ a principal, a school principal who has a whole brain thinker, it will really bring your school to that new level. Especially this is what we need in this COVID era, because I want us to be thinkers. In this COVID era, we need a whole brain thinker who can be able to think out of the box. Yes, because if we have one, we'll be extreme. Okay, and then we do our application. And then last but not least, we go to multiple intelligences. Okay. By the way, let me do this. How are we together? Are you listening? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to remove assignment number 3. Okay, let me remove the number 3 so that we can do number 1 and 2 properly. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'll go on Moodle and I'll remove number 3. I want us to do number 1 and 2 properly, because I've seen the students, they might get too overwhelmed. Remember when it was face-to-face? When it was face-to-face, they were doing, this was a task 3. If you can see here, this was assignment 3. They were doing numerous assignment, but with this online learning is becoming, this was task 3. And this was, you can see this was one assignment. But me, I don't want us to go beating about the bush and doing bad assignment. It's better we learn one good thing properly, so that you write for me a very good assignment of 3 sections, of 2 sections. Okay, section 1 and section 2. So let me go to the introduction and remove. You know why the other problem we're having is that now your module is 16 credits. Is it yes, which is really a problem. But me, I'm going to remove this. We have section 1 and 2, and then you discuss them properly, so that when you're discussing this work in the constructivism, you make sure that you mention the instructivism and yes, you make sure that you mention this. It must be very, very clear in your assignment. Let me put it here. Yes. So that your work is showing why do we need this. So I'm going to add here. So this must be very clear. Why we are moving from this. Okay, very clear. You can just discuss there very clear. You can see here an example. Behaviorism. We have Pavlov and we have Skinner. So I want you to have at least a little bit of discussion of and give us a small background of what this, of a small background of, because I know you know. Just a small background, so that you can be able to say, why is it important for the teachers to move from behaviorism to constructivism, and also, well, because this is more of learner. This is learner centered, and this is more of student centered. See, this one is more of teacher centered. You see, that is where the problem. So why should we move? Why should we transition into constructivism? Because I will ask you, what are you transitioning from? From here. And then the other thing is, why should we balance? Why should we balance behaviorism and constructivism. Yes, yes. What should we balance and what should we transition? Because if you cannot discuss this, then how will you have done the work? Okay, here we go. Whole brain thinking. So I'm going to remove the so that now here you'll come up and look at multiple intelligences, because that's where now we are getting into. And here is an example. I don't know that I gave you these documents. They are there. Multiple intelligences, where the learner they have different intelligences: verbal, ability to speak, using words, sounds, creating meaning, which is vital, as we have seen. Mathematical intelligence, logical, ability to think conceptually. And why should teachers be interested in this? So you'll copy this and discuss them here. And then you say, what is multiple intelligence? And then you put a reference there. And then you tell me, why is it important? And we apply to that school. I want us to apply to the school so that the work looks real and relevant. Why should it be important that the teachers of this concert school be able to help their learners to develop these skills? If you put your work like this, you will not have a problem. Why should we apply verbal skills? Why is it important the learners to know how to talk? Then the other thing, just a small, you write a reference there. Why is it important for learners to learn mathematical skills, musical skills? I'll show you an example. And then let me show you an example of an assignment. Here's an example. So the students, this was a different task. You are lucky I'm giving you as one task. They did as different tasks. The students started by discussing what is multiple intelligence, identifying individuals in the 21st century, why they need to develop this, human development, observation, how teachers can apply multiple intelligence in teaching. They use media, software, how teachers can apply multiple intelligence in assessment, resources, all that. This is an assignment by itself, but I will give it to you. You see, this is another spoken, written, language, physical, interpersonal intelligence. I will email you this. This they did it as an assignment. So I've just put everything for you as one assignment, whereas they're supposed to be doing them as small assignment, even though it was face-to-face. And this is what learning is really about, whereby the learners, they develop. You see, musical intelligence. You see, and I want us to say the figures and say what the importance of the figures, application of multiple intelligences, challenges. I will email you this. I'll put them right now on, and then you'll have them. You see, this is another multiple intelligence importance. You see, they were doing them as different assignments, but okay, this is a textbook. This one, it talks, you just come here and say Control F, and then say multiple intelligence. Remember, I want us to be very creative in terms of we are even saying, how is this applied in this century when we are going through the COVID? Howard Gardner. think I have not gotten the right book. I'll give you there's another right book. This is not the right book. I'll get the right book. I'll put it on Moodle. This is a summary. I'm supposed to have given you there's a bigger book that talks about multiple intelligence in terms of Howard Gardner. Let me show you here. These are higher order thinking skills. Thinking skills, dimensions of thinking. We have information, creative, comparative, collaborative learning. All this has to do with the Vygotsky. We are talking about speaking and listening, discussion. These are thinking skills, questioning, problem solving. It's higher order thinking skills. Thought is the idea of thinking. Okay. These are Bloom's taxonomy, which is a different from now. Critical thinking, creative thinking, convergent thinking. Different. I'm just showing you that this assignment is limitless. But I don't want to go too much into Bloom's taxonomy. What else? So, let me see. Then we come to referencing. I'm not sure whether you know how to so this is a document that I'm copying from. It's about multiple intelligences. Now I can close it down. I want to be sure that I'm not closing my assignment. But you can see, I've shown I don't want my computer to start freezing on us here. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. We're going to do with this the formula: discuss, apply, discuss, apply, discuss, apply, discuss, apply. But you don't have to use these ones. You can use the ones for the students. These are different ones, but just try and see. I'll email to you. Discuss, apply. I'll email you. Then last but not last, metacognition. I'll also email you more work. Metacognition is the idea of, I'll email you a PowerPoint on metacognition. Metacognition is the idea of recognizing, it's about of thinking. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. Let me see. I don't know whether I have the work here. Sometimes I put my work on an external drive, and it's so important. I show you metacognition. Let me see. It's very important. We'll meet again next week, but let's just first of all get ourselves started. I know I have talked too much, but forgive me. If we don't learn to forgive one another, you see, they have a lot on that. Let me open this. This is just an image, I think. You see? The results of not thinking before we attempt to solve real life work. Because metacognition is thinking about thinking. Do you understand? So what am I doing? I'm thinking before I think. Descartes says, I think, so I am. So we think before we think. You see, now look at what this person, what's wrong with this diagram, Philippa? I'll start with Philippa. What's wrong with this?
It's right in the middle of the walkway.
So what's the problem?
So people can't walk nicely.
Because it's right in the middle. Sarah,
and all
who will be able to figure out the problem?
Out.
Pick it up.
Sorry, ma'am.
A garage.
A garage. So what's the problem?
So they won't be able to drive out of their garage.
You see, okay. And what's the problem of this other one?
They'll be too close to each other when they're trying to.
Yeah, I don't even know. Problem solved. I don't know what is this. What is wrong? What's this one? What's the problem with this one? You look at that, you know, the car is just going to, the sellotape cannot work. This one is trying to silence the learners. Look at this one. What's the problem with this one? I can't even tell. Oh, the child will go straight into it. You see, the student will go straight into the into this hole. You see, that's what we are doing. That's what metacognition is about. Thinking about before thinking about thinking. Let me go back. I want to search more just before because we are learning by images. I thought I would have a PDF. I wanted to see a PDF. Let me go. This is metacognition. I don't know whether I gave you this one on Moodle, but it's good now. At least we are meeting. You know, this is what metacognition is about. Metacognition is about thinking about thinking, and then we are talking about self, the concept of self. You know, and before I forget, because this might be very important, let me open here, because I know I have given you this document. Because once I open the documents for you, you will not forget. Let me open this document. One. I'll get it right now. Yeah. I don't know whether it's on Moodle. This document will help you a lot, because you come and see here self. You know, this book I'll put on Moodle, but when I go through it, you'll be more comfortable to see what it is talking about. Because whenever I put in Moodle and you don't understand what it is about, it's talking about the idea of self. You know, it's talking about social construction. Vygotsky, you'll find Vygotsky there. You know, self-regulated learning is talking about it here. You see? And it's talking about metacognition. Because you need this document, metacognition and the self-concept. What is self? Who can tell me what is self? You can be able to see the video? Are you able to view? You can see my work?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because I don't want to be talking to myself. What, Sarah, what is self?
The word self.
Yes.
It's referring to you, I.
You, I, you understand? Yes, very good. We are talking about you, the concept of self. So what is teaching? Teaching is about helping the learners. All I was talking about, discovery learning, behaviorism learning, constructivism learning, they are all trying to help the learner to discover self. You see, we are here, even right now, I'm helping you to discover self. So self comes with so many, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is whereby, even people, they tell you, let's just take drugs. I'm not taking drugs, because you have a very high self-efficacy. You know personal judgment. You know how to you have a high self-esteem. You know who you are. You know, so that you not accept self-handcuffing strategies of self-beliefs, you know. Then we have self-monitoring and motivation. Self-monitoring, I don't have to be behind you 24/7 asking you, how are you doing? You are monitoring yourself and your self-motivation. You see, the concept of self is very important. self-regulated learning. Self-regulated, somebody who can regulate themselves. You are not just at a pipe that is open. You know, if I go there, the other day, we didn't have water. And then I left the taps. I didn't close the tap. What's going to happen? The water is going to overflow to the whole house, isn't it? But we need self-regulation. So what I did, before I left the house, I went outside the main gate and I closed the main water pipe because I was not sure which pipe is open because there is no water in the house and I was going to Westville campus. So self-regulation, you are regulating yourself. You know when to open and when to close. You know, those are the strategies the students need to activate to be able to use to problem solve, challenging, encouraging, you know, self-improvement. See, I want you to self-confidence. I want you to use this PDF and type the word self and then copy those words and you use them in the assignment. Very interesting. You'll come up a very different person. You're able to have your own self-idea, self-reflection. So this document, I don't know whether it must be in Omudo, but I'm going to ensure that as I finish this lecture, all this work I'm going to email the students. Not email, I'm going to put them on Google Drive. You just download them as one thing. But they're also supposed to go on Moodle. So let me just finish here quickly, then we can, you see? Let me just finish here. Slideshow quickly. So, self-efficacy. You know, what is the importance during this cover to understand metacognition? Who are you? You know, thinking as a habit of mind. You know, we know how to think. We are making meaning even right now when we are together right now. We are thinking is a complex activity and it requires insight and wisdom to be able to do this. As before, we were cramming in high school, but now we are using metacognition is thinking about thinking. Cognition, we have just said cognitive is the mind. So we are thinking about thinking. So which statement describes you? How do you see yourself? Traditional versus alternative. We have looked at behaviorism versus instructivism. These are the issues that are confronting us in COVID era. That's why we need metacognition to probe them. Because these are, you see, collaboration, learning strategies, engaging thinking for learners. What is metacognition? It's thinking about thinking. Metacognition in the classroom. I'm thinking, I am wondering, I am noticing, I'm reflecting, I'm reminding myself, I'm trying to figure out. That is what, and how do you regulate your own thinking? Metacognition. The kind of knowledges that you are monitoring yourself and evaluating yourself, thinking about thinking, the learning cycle. Why is metacognition important? It's shaping us. We are able to take control. We are able to encourage ourselves. We are able to develop a deep thinking, deep learning of changing our paradigm shift, changing our subconscious beliefs. Because some people, they have a very self-limiting belief. When you tell them they can't, they're always telling me, my mother told me I cannot. And then you accepted your mother. My stepfather told me I'm not good. My peers tell me that I am not good. You know, we have to go on to the subconscious and start erasing those things. You know, authentic, we have seen just that right now, that issue. Students' response, I don't know, I just did it. They are thinking, they're not thinking. Metacognition, okay? Yes, metacognition will help us to demonstrate independence. We are going to develop strong. We are going to be able to respond to this COVID era, use technology, understand cultures, you know. Yes, so much. So mine was here to meet you and to take you through and to show you. And I didn't want to put such kind of things and then say, oh, you know, they say, oh, Dr. Kashi, all she does is to put for us PDF documents and we don't know what they are all about. But now at least you can see what I'm talking about. I'm just showing you self-concept, one perception about themselves, you know, self-esteem, self-motivation, self, you know, self, and self will help you in the learning process, self-efficacy, self-esteem. I can put my ideas into writing. I'm satisfied with myself. I am good in science. I'm not going to accept other people's prejudices. My self-concept is good. You see, that's what I'm talking about. And then what can teachers do to enhance? Because our students, will come with very poor self-concept. What are we going to do? We are going to provide them with meaningful choices. We are going to help them to think. We are going to help them to erase their subconscious beliefs. And then we are going to use different kinds of teaching and learning and so forth. And then we are going to remove things like sexism. Only boys can do maths. Only girls can do art. Only girls can do housework. You see, that's what we are going to do as teachers, to develop our learners, to develop themselves and develop a passion, values, personality and strength, their roles, and then they develop empowerment, you know, here, music, usefulness, success. These are all, we are empowering our learners. Yes. Any questions? Yes, I want each person to say something before, because now I cannot say anything more. I've talked too much. We are coming into a full cycle here. That's what, coming into a full cycle. We have come to a full circle using spiral. We were building. Today we were building.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to disturb you.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna now for my next lecture
Yes, before
that
you
I'm
go,
having.
anything, because I'm about to finish. Are you going to be able to do the assignment?
I'm gonna look at this recording, ma'am. But my next lecture is already starting now.
Okay, okay.
At this time.
Okay.
And also this on Mondays, it's not our time slots for lectures. I can send you my timetable where I put like all the different times from what I got off the internet from the timetable finder. Because our time slot is usually it's on Tuesday. And Tuesday at 8.
The university was asked to rectify that thing and they said they have rectified. So why are you doing Tuesday? Wait, which module are you doing? 301 or 312?
I'm doing
301.
Hold on, ma'am.
312.
It was
Yeah, just yeah.
Sarah, is it today's lecture? Is today's lecture on Monday?
No, it's on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yes, ma'am. Because now there's big clashes.
On Tuesday at what? At 11?
At 8, ma'am.
It's 8, yeah.
It was changed, no. I'll send you an email. The timetable says now. I'll send you an email, okay?
Okay.
How do we solve this now? Because we have lectures with other.
I'll send you an email today. I'll send you an email today or tomorrow.
Okay, should we tell? What do we say now to the other lectures?
That I will send you an email today or tomorrow, because that is not the case. I have to go by the timetable. I can't say yes or no. I will send you an email as soon as as soon as we finish this lecture. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. I hope you have gained something, all of you, and you're able to start your assignment. Is that okay?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay, get started. I'll send you an email as soon as I rectify that issue, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, see you then. I will email you this and I'll put all the documents up. Okay, bye.